She stood up, wiping her tears, and Jungkook, as promised, was going to accept whatever decision she would make. Wine. Let me talk to him. I want to hear it from him. He hated the simple idea of that man entering his home, but he was not going to ask his wife to leave the home to talk to his father either. He simply nodded and stayed where he was. Jungkook, go ahead. I'll wait here. She squeezed his hand and left. She asked a guard to escort him in. The sight of her father clenched her heart. It has been so long she got to saw him. She wanted to run and cry in his embrace, but every thought of him being that monster her husband talked about disgusted her. She wanted to hear it from him. To know if he did and if it was true, why would he do such a sick thing? Carlos, Wyan? He almost rushed towards his daughter, but Wyan took a step back, making him halt in his steps. Wyan, let's talk first. Carlos knew what was happening, and it made him sweat already. Wyan served him with juice and took a seat on the opposite couch. Wyan, I want to know why you said he wants to take revenge from you. Why? What did you do so wrong to him? Carlos, I don't know what he told you, but it's all wrong. Wyan, that's why I'm asking you, Dad. Please tell me the truth. Carlos, let's go home and we'll talk about this. Wyan, are we really cousins? Did you steal his father's property? Carlos knew there was no way out. She knew everything. He couldn't escape it anymore. Carlos, I didn't steal his property, Wyan. I asked him to let me take it. I was going to return him everything once my business grows. Her heart dropped at that. So it was true. Everything he went through was true. All that pain, torture, loss, and tears, it was all he ever had in his life, and it broke her heart into a million pieces. Wyan, return it? Are you serious? Do you know what he and his family went through? Carlos, I was the older son. I was planning to start my business when Dad left. He had plans of helping me in that, but due to his sudden death, my business was going to crash before it even started. Carlos, I told you Dad was going to help me in that. So it's only fair that I took the whole property and made the foundation of my business. Fine, but you can't run away from the fact you forcefully took his share and abandoned him. Those people, they killed him, and you never once tried to help his family. Carlos, I went overseas for a week. When I returned, I found out he was killed. I went to his home, but his family was not there. We was supposed to find them, Ryan. She closed her eyes. She can't believe how he was trying to justify himself after doing such a horrifying thing towards his own brother and his family. Carlos, you're coming back with me, Ryan. He's your cousin. He can't be your husband. Ryan, I never met him before. I didn't even know that he is my cousin. And that's the excuse you're using to pull me away from him. Come to think of it, you never had a strong reason to reject our relationship. Carlos, he has corrupted you enough. You're not even listening to your father. Can't you see? Vine dug her face in her hands. She was still trying to process everything that her husband had to face, only for her to live a luxurious life. And while she was playing Sleeping Beauty, he was sleeping on roads and eating from trash. Vine, please leave. She stood up. I'm never coming back with you. You're not even remorseful of your actions. Carlos, what happened to my brother and his family was wrong, but it was not my fault. You can't blame me for all that. She shook her head in disbelief. She can't believe how he was trying to justify himself. Ryan, I'm not coming back. She stood up, turning her back at him. Carlos, Ryan, you can't stay with him. I won't let you. Jungkook stared out of his room. He didn't even want to see his face, but he was clearly losing his patience. He stood in front of Ryan, blocking her view. Jungkook, you heard her. Leave before you are forced out. Carlos gritted his teeth. He waited a moment or two more in case Ryan changed her mind, but when she said nothing, he stormed out of there. Once he was out of the sight, she hugged Jungkook and cried out. The pain of losing a father was still there, no matter how big of a monster he was. Jungkook kissed her back and stayed beside her, letting her cry in his chest. Every time he saw Carlos, it only freshened his scars, reminded him of his father, who died so brutally, his mother, who lived like a queen, but died on the floor in such a miserable condition. Him, who went through so much without having done any wrong towards anyone. But Vine didn't deserve that. She didn't have to go through any of it. He hated how he brought her under pressure, and now she had to choose between two. Vine, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you had to act like nothing happened just because of me. Vine, I can't live like this, Jungkook. You don't have to. Jungkook, Vine, it was my choice. I want you to stop thinking about it. I want you to forget everything that happened. That's all I can ask from you. I want us to be together without any remorse or feeling bad for each other. He settled down on the couch and pulled her head out of his chest and smiled at her while wiping her tears. Her nose and cheeks were red at this point, and he only found her more adorable. Jungkook, I'm happy that you chose me. I'm happy that at the end we are together and I don't have to lose you. What happened was in the past. It doesn't matter anymore. Jungkook, I love you. Ryan, that's not fair. She cried again and he laughed, squishing her in his arms. Jungkook, completely fair because I'm going to love you like this forever.